Comic Boom.
Hey guys, Comic Boom here to review. Good Lord, I'm reviewing a lot today. I'm reviewing Justice League issue 38. Year of the Villain, Hell is Risen, #1, along with Batman and Superman issue 5. Talking a little bit about Flash Forward #4. Be talking a little bit about Doomsday Clock because it's kind of related, and a little bit about Suicide Squad just because I want to. And wow, there's a lot that's happening in the DC universe at Christmas time. Good Lord, I mean, this past week, December 25th, or the week of Christmas, DC's not really putting out any comics. So last week, good grief, the number of comic books. I think it was one of my largest weeks for comic books. It was insane, wasn't it? My God. So much has happened. So much is happening in the DC universe. And there's some rant and raving that I got to do. Probably a little bit more on the rant side than the rave, but we're going to get to it. But first, I want to start off right away talking about Justice League. Justice League number 38. Now, Justice League number 38 is not the end of Scott Snyder's run. It's actually issue 39. But before, the sad part is that issue 38 of Justice League came out. And then Hell is Risen has come out. And it spoils the ending of an issue of Justice League that hasn't even come out yet. So, yeah, there's that. But in any event, guys, I'm gonna be talking here. There's gonna be spoilers, a spoiler warning for all these comic books, and I'm gonna be sipping my Crown and vanilla Crown and Coke. I already had my hot chocolate with Bailey's this morning. Life is good. But in any event, let's start this off. So, what's happening in the DC universe right now? Well, let's cut right to it, shall we? Justice League number 38. It looks like that Doom is winning. Doom is winning. What happens in Justice League 38? Well, in a nutshell, Shane, the offspring of Hawkgirl and the Martian Manhunter, Shane utilizes his powers to try to along with his powers and all the other telepaths, they try to reconnect to all the people of Earth to try to get them to move away from Doom because basically the Legion of Doom, led by Luthor, the apex predator who got all those powers from Perpetua, he's basically was on a PR campaign to get all the citizens of Earth to turn toward Doom. And when the scales tipped toward Doom, that empowered Perpetua, and now she's got control of all the 7 deadly forces, of which we really only know about 3 or 4. We actually know about all 7 of them, but unfortunately Scott Snyder doesn't really spend a lot of time on them. This issue here is it's an all-out attack against Apex Luthor. Apex Luthor attacks the Justice League, and it's pretty good. The art here is really good. Jorge Jimenez does a really good job. And Snyder even tells a decent story here. I gotta say, the art here is, again, I really enjoyed the art. There's all the members of the league seem to take turns attacking Lex Luthor. It's really great. John Stewart attacks Lex Luthor by dropping a bunch of constructs on him. Lex Luthor then, Apex Lex, channels into the ultraviolet power through Sinestro and defeats and drops all those constructs that John Stewart creates right on top of him. Interestingly enough, Apex Lex, if you recall, is now channeling all the other powers of the members of the Legion of Doom that they've all been incapacitated by Perpetua. And so all of them are basically in a state of almost like suspended animation where their powers are being utilized. They're like batteries. So all the members of the Legion of Doom, the Cheetah, Sinestro, Gorilla Grodd, they're all basically being used like batteries for Apex Lex to channel the various forces, the 7, I guess, negative forces of creation that Apex Luthor is using to defeat each individual member of the Justice League. He defeats John Stewart here by utilizing the ultraviolet force. He defeats the Flash by utilizing the still force against the Flash. He defeats Wonder Woman he doesn't. We don't know what force he's using to defeat Wonder Woman. He just basically says his only comment is that maybe by decree of the gods you worship, but me, I'm allied with a different god. So it doesn't really know. It doesn't really state what power, what's the purple energy that Lex uses to defeat Wonder Woman. Apparently, it's just from the god Perpetua. But there's no reference to one of the seven deadly forces. I mean, because there's a whole slew that we just don't have an explanation for. That's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. This issue really feels rushed because of that. There's a very strong sense here with issue 38 that we've Scott Snyder's he's definitely taken his time over 38 issues thus far to get to this point, but it still feels rushed. And that's the sad part, is that because we still don't know anything about most of the forces. And it's really sad because this is really, really rushed. And we know that at the end of next issue, we know that the Justice League is defeated. And to make things even worse, that's the end of Snyder's Justice League run. And then then the next issue takes place in Hell Arisen, where Lex Luthor then takes on the Batman Who Laughs. So that's how this is going to resolve it. So we have this massive Justice League story that's not going to be resolved in the pages of Justice League. That's a massive, massive screw up on the part of DC. A huge misstep by Snyder. And I must say, why the heck do we need more of the Batman Who Laughs? Because, basically the Justice League is defeated at the end of this, and this goes into issue 39, and I already know at the end of issue 39 the Justice League gets defeated. So why exactly do we need to read issue 39? I don't know. This issue ends with Martian Manhunter coming alive. So Shane, Kendra and Martian Manhunter's son Shane from the 6th dimension, Shane switches places with his dad. Remember that Lex Luthor absorbed Martian Manhunter to become the apex predator? Well, Shane switched places with his dad. And now Martian Manhunter's back, and he's going to utilize the forces of justice to defeat Doom, but we know he's going to fail, because that's been revealed in Hell Arisen. So that's what happens there. Again, there's beautiful art here, and there's excitement, and there's some pretty cool sequences. The art's fantastic. But again, I want this to be a Justice League story, but no, sadly, it's become nothing. But DC's been nothing but a one-hit wonder all bloody year long. And now, of course, DC can't seem to sell any comic books unless they put the Batman Who Laughs on there. And so now the Justice League gets defeated. And now Lex Luthor is going to take on and battle the Batman Who Laughs. Now, why is Luthor battling the Batman Who Laughs? Well, let's get into Hell Arisen. What happens here? Well, we already know how boring the Secret Six is, right? I mean, how one-dimensional the writing was for all those characters, how fundamentally uninteresting all of them were. I mean, how can you explore the dark side of Supergirl, Hawkman, Blue Beetle, Shazam, and be so boring? I got to say, the writing across the board on this has been so one-dimensional, so disappointing. There's been nothing really fundamentally interesting about exploring the dark side of any of the members of the Secret Six. Huge disappointment. And one of the reasons why it's a huge disappointment is that all of them are so one-dimensional. They're just evil. They're just bad. I mean, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I'm going to double down on it. Just because somebody has a dark side doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't. Just because you're dark doesn't mean you're a jerk. Does that mean you're going to be a villain because you have a dark side? Of course not. Come on. I mean, look at Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, which was an awesome movie, by the way. I mean, Kylo Ren came back, so you have a dark side. What's the big deal? It's more interesting if you have a dark side and you're kind of an anti-hero. Unfortunately, you don't really get a sense of that with the Secret Six. They're all one-hit wonders, and they're all evil, and that's how they're written, and it just feels blah. But the Secret Six now, Lex Luthor goes on a mission here because apparently Perpetua, and this is an interesting side of Perpetua here. Perpetua, this issue has the return of the crime syndicate. Now, we thought the crime syndicate was dead. Remember Darkseid War? The crime syndicate was pretty much killed. And in fact, Lex Luthor in Darkseid War was one of the ones that actually killed some of the members of the crime syndicate. But they're back. Now, how are they back? Well, the crime syndicate is back because the universe, the multiverse, according to Perpetua, heals itself. It heals itself. Now, I'm going to explain it this way because, again, Scott Snyder, Tinian the Fourth, who is the writer of this one, he works in conjunction with Snyder through Justice League. It's not explained as well as it could be here, but I'm gonna change the analogy because the analogy isn't as good as it could be here. If the multiverse heals itself, then the analogy would be to that of a human body. So just when one part of the human body is destroyed, the human body can heal itself. But as Perpetua explains, Perpetua wants to keep breaking the bones of the multiverse. And just like if you break a bone and you set it differently, it might heal, but it's going to heal with the injury. So it might not heal the way it was before. Perpetua wants to fracture and break up and twist the multiverse in such a way that when the multiverse heals itself, it will heal in a way that she prefers. And that's one of the reasons why she explains this crime syndicate is alive. How did all members of the crime syndicate come back from the dead? Well, the multiverse healed itself because apparently the crime syndicate members are significant in the general workings of the multiverse. Or to put it another way, it's sort of like cutting your hand. If you cut your hand and it heals, and the scar often will go away because it's completely healed. But sometimes, depending on the nature of the cut, the scar is still be there. So even though you're still the same person and the multiverse, you're still the same multiverse you were before, you might have scars of what happened. And those scars might add a little bit of flavor to the multiverse. Well, the flavor added to the multiverse now is that the crime syndicate is back. And Perpetua wants to utilize the members of the crime syndicate to help her create more of her apex predators on Earth 3, which is the home world, the home Earth, Earth 3 of the multiverse. So that's interesting. That's interesting. What's a little bit odd here is one member of the crime syndicate actually gets killed, and that's the Flashlight character called Johnny Quick. That's his name. Johnny Quick ends up getting killed. But in any event, so I think we have sort of a pointless death there of Johnny Quick. I love the Crime Syndicate. Lots of us love the Crime Syndicate. It's a hell of a lot better than the garbage Young Justice Earth 3 characters that Bendis introduced in the pages of Young Justice, which are jokes. But in any event, it's nice to see the Crime Syndicate back. But so Perpetua, though, she does mention something in the Apex Less. She actually fears, it would appear, the Batman Who Laughs, because she says that she's a little bit worried about the dark universe infecting and spreading into the multiverse, because as she describes it, that in fact it would the dark matter of the dark multiverse could adversely affect her twisting and orchestrating of the multiverse, and would adversely affect her plans. And so she'd rather keep the dark multiverse on the flip side and never infecting her side of the multiverse. And so she sends Apex Lex to take out the Secret Six and to take out the Batman Who Laughs. Now, what Perpetua doesn't tell Apex Lex is, in fact, the energies of the dark universe are such that they cancel out the powers of Perpetua. So the power that Apex Lex has, which is essentially the power of Perpetua, or aspects of the power of Perpetua, or aspects of those seven forces, apparently they're not any good. They're fairly useless against the powers of the dark universe. So dark universe energies are a fairly good match. They can cancel out the energies of the multiverse. And so what ends up happening here is it ends with Lex Luthor having his apex predator bodyguards that he takes along with him being handily destroyed by the members of the Secret Six, and the Batman Who Laughs essentially telling Lex Luthor, look, I mean, between Lex Luthor versus Batman, Batman wins, because there's a flashback sequence to a conversation that took place long before apparently the Justice Doom War got underway, where apparently when there was a period of time where the Legion of Doom Lex Luthor had the Batman Who Laughs captured, and the Batman Who Laughs, he had an opportunity to kill the Batman Who Laughs, never took it, and the Batman Who Laughs told Lex that the reason why you're not going to kill me is, one of the reasons why you're not going to kill me is because you always want to know, let's face it, you want to know who's better, you or Batman, you or me, who's smarter, and you don't want to kill me until you know that answer to that question. And so this issue ends with Apex Lex being on the losing side of their first battle, with Batman Who Laughs reminding him that, hey, in a battle between the two of us, Batman's going to win, Batman Who Laughs is going to win. So that's where we're at here. Now, unfortunately, to go through 39 pages to 39 issues of Justice League, only to have to wrap up the storyline of Perpetua in the pages of Hell Arisen is really, really disappointing. This is a 4-issue series, but it's I think it's a huge misstep, and again, I'm just going to give a criticism here that there are aspects of this Justice League run by Snyder and Tynion that I really like. In particular, issue 25 with Superman and how it sort of exemplified Superman and the relationship between Superman and Batman, and just how the rapport between the Justice League and the Hall of Justice and the Legion of Doom. There are lots of pretty cool fanboy moments here, so I got to give credit where credit's due. Tynion and Snyder have done a decent job on Justice League. I just wish that they would landed this better. I think that they deserve to have their storyline and the story of Perpetua and the defeat of Perpetua take place in the pages of Justice League, not in the pages of this Year of the Villain. The Year of the Villain has been a dud. It's been a big dud, and the Secret Six are exceptionally disappointing. You want to know how disappointing? Well, I can't recommend it, but do not read Year of the Villain, The Commissioner. Don't read that. It was a horrendous story. Probably the most one-dimensional story of them all. It also ties in with this, and it's, again, another really unfortunate series that hasn't really landed well in my mind. The Batman and Superman under Williamson. Williamson has been very unimpressive in the pages of Flash, so unsurprisingly, in my mind, this is another series that I don't think has really hit home for me. It's not been particularly... it's been very underwhelming, let's put it that way. That's why I drink. In any event, one thing about Batman and Superman, all you need to know here is that, my God, not much happens here. This is 5 issues which have been completely wasted. I swear to God, you could have summed up the entire plot of these first 5 issues in basically 1 page. But I can give you a paragraph to sum it up. Batman and Superman have known for a while now that there's been an infection throughout the DC universe, and the infection has been the Batman Who Laughs virus. They've known for quite some time, and it's that same virus. At the end of the Batman Who Laughs 7-issue miniseries, it ended with the knowledge that Batman Who Laughs, that the virus was out there, and that Commissioner Gordon we knew was infected. And Batman and Superman, and this goes way back to that 25-cent one-shot, they've known for some time that the heroes and potential heroes and villains, and heck, the entire DC universe is potentially at risk for infection by the Batman Who Laughs virus. And they never told anybody. They kept it to themselves. And what happened is, obviously, all the members of the Secret Six, Shazam, Supergirl, Hawkgirl, Donna Troy, they all got infected. Blue Beetle, and Commissioner Gordon, and they all became members, of course, the Secret Six, doing the bidding of the Batman Who Laughs. Again, they went from being boring regular heroes to very boring villains, one-dimensional villains, just literally going black to white. Not much sophistication. Extremely disappointed in the writing here, in the one-shots on all the Year of the Villain one-shots. Just so disappointing. And I gotta say, I gotta put it on the writers here. Man, this year for the writers, on this being such a big event, it's so obvious that DC never really had a vision. There wasn't a single writer here that took any members of the Secret Six and said, okay, I'm going to do something that makes this character stand out. There just really wasn't one, and that's what's so disappointing. Jody Houser touched upon some interesting aspects of Supergirl by maybe having Supergirl resist it. Maybe can Supergirl still be darker and heroic? Jody Houser's maybe touching on that. Hawkman, Robert Venditti, touched upon maybe some interesting aspects of a darker version of Hawkman, insofar as the Hawkman, he confused the Hawkman of the Earth 3 universe with the same place where the crime syndicate is, as being the darker version that manifests itself when our Hawkman gets infected with the virus. That seems to go against the logic of the virus. If Carter Hall is infected with the virus, why would it resurrect another version of himself, namely the Earth 3 Hawkman? That didn't really make much sense, but it is what it is, and all that Hawkman does is want to kill. So Hawkman, wanting to save as many lives as he can to redeem himself, to finally gain entrance into heaven, the Earth 3 incarnation part of his soul likes to kill more people to make sure that he stays alive so he can kill more people. So maybe that's interesting. So maybe Jody Houser and Robert Venditti have maybe the more interesting takes on it. There's no interesting take on Shazam. There's no interesting take on Commissioner Gordon. There's zero interesting take on Donna Troy. And Yeah, I don't know. But in any event, that's what we have here. And all these characters are thrown together here. It's one long fight scene. And all that happens is Batman and Superman, it ends in a stalemate. They prevent the Secret Six from opening up a portal to the Dark Universe. Again, we've seen this plot line before. It ends with them ending in a stalemate. And then ultimately what happens is it ends in a stalemate, and Batman and Superman got to run off, and they're afraid about telling Wonder Woman that, oh, by the way, Wonder Woman, now the Secret Six exists, and we never told you about our what we knew about the DC universe being infected with this virus. It just seems, again, it's going nowhere. This is plotting stuff, plotting stuff, and the Batman Who Laughs is still around. Now, one criticism here is with respect to the Batman Who Laughs, because whether it's in Hell Arisen or Batman and Superman, or even in his own title, the Batman Who Laughs is a character that just seems to be omniscient. He's always one step ahead of everybody. And now even Perpetua, now we're supposed to believe that the Batman Who Laughs has more genius and brilliance than a god, the god of Perpetua, that was literally there, that helped create the very multiverse itself. Give me a break. I don't buy this for a second. And as a matter of fact, if Perpetua has an opposite, it's not the Batman Who Laughs. I mean, which actually raises an interesting question. Who is the opposite of Perpetua in the dark multiverse? Does Perpetua have a darker self? Does Perpetua have a mirror image? Batman's mirror image is the Batman Who Laughs. Okay, but the Batman Who Laughs is not on par with Perpetua. I mean, what nonsense is that? And yet that's sort of the nonsense that you got to buy here. And I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. And so the whole premise of this Lex versus the Batman Who Laughs, or Apex Lex versus the Batman Who Laughs, I'm just not into that. That doesn't really interest me. I was really hoping for some time being taken to explain the seven forces, to give me some clue, Mr. Snyder and Mr. Tinney in the fourth, that you actually had a vision for the Justice League, that you were going to end it in by no more than issue 50, that maybe you'd learn the lessons that Tom King never learned. And you know what I mean? Now, again, it's a fun series. Unfortunately now, it's been squandered. And I'm not saying that the landing can't be maybe landed, but I don't want the landing to be with the Batman Who Laughs. I wanted this to be a Justice League tale, and because I'm not a fan of the Batman Who Laughs. I'm just not. I don't mind this series, but, you know, keep him in the pages of Batman. He's a good analog to Batman. He's the opposite to Batman. There's lots of story potential with the Batman Who Laughs, but elevating the Batman Who Laughs to the level of multiversal threat, I don't know. It's not my cup of tea, but, you know, look, I'll stand to be corrected. I can be, you know, whatever. If it ends up being fantastic, I'll say so. I'm just not buying it, and I'm really disappointed because I really get a sense that you changed direction mid-shift, and I really don't like editorially speaking. It's really, this is a mess. But maybe they can stick the landing, because let me tell you something. Rise of the Skywalker, I went to that movie. I liked that. That was a messy movie, but I loved it. So it can still be messy, and I can still like it, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay? So, now tied into all this is Flash Forward. Because now what's happening in Flash Forward? Well, Wally West is trying to find his kids and his wife, Linda. Now, remember out of the pages of Heroes in Crisis, Wally West did something crazy. He sort of lost it for a bit. He ended up killing Roy. He ended up killing, or thought he ended up killing Poison Ivy. And he ended up killing a whole slew, you know, Lagoon Boy and the Caveman bunch of useless characters. But in any event, he needs to be redeemed. So Flash Forward is Flash's attempt at redemption. He basically was retained, I guess you could say, recruited by Tempest Fugonaut to explore the Dark Universe and to prevent the Dark Universe from bleeding into the multiverse, and to save various worlds in the multiverse from being swallowed up and destroyed by this dark matter that's infecting from the darker universe. So I want to put everything in context here so you guys understand what's going on. Because in the pages of Justice League and Hell Arisen, what's happening in the pages there is that Perpetua is trying to break the multiverse so that the multiverse heals itself in her image, in the image that she wants, in a way that she wants. Now what's happening in Flash Forward is that the dark energies from the dark multiverse are leaking into the multiverse. Now, even Perpetua doesn't like that. Perpetua doesn't like that. She hates the dark multiverse. That's why she sent Apex Lex to take on Luthor in Hell Arisen. In the meantime, along the similar vein, Wally West is battling and saving various worlds of the multiverse from the dark energy infestation through the help of Tempest Fusionaut, because he's got a special rod that Tempest Fusionaut has to sort of destroy the dark energies that are leaking in from the dark universe. So that's what's happening here. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like it. And this is a story of redemption. In this latest issue 4, he meets up with another version of his wife, Linda Park, who is Lightspeed. Yes, Lightspeed is the Linda Park version of the Flash's Lightspeed. She works with Wally West, and they help save Earth 10. They help save 2 Earths, which is pretty cool. They help save Earth 13, who have the League of Shadows, and they save Earth 32, which is the Earth of the Outlaws of Justice. And so that's pretty good. So what's happening here, we got a battle happening on 3 fronts right now. If you're following what's going on in the DC universe, on 3 fronts. We got Wally West saving the multiverse, saving the various Earths of the multiverse from a dark energy incursion with the help of Tempest Fusionaut. We've got a battle between Apex Lex and the Batman Who Laughs, because Perpetua wants to keep the dark energies of the Batman Who Laughs at bay. She wants a clear separation between the dark multiverse and the mainstream multiverse. And of course, we got what's happening in the Justice League, which ends in issue 39, which apparently ends with them having lost to Apex Lex and Perpetua. So presumably, we are embracing doom. But for the fact that we have Wally West is the only one that seems to be successful at the moment, although all is not completely lost, because in the pages of Batman and Superman have managed to at least defeat a full black hole opening up between the mainstream universe and the dark universe. They destroyed that portal, that opening, and they managed to hold the Secret Six at bay. But so this ended more or less in a stalemate, and so now they're going to recruit the help of Wonder Woman and break the news to her that this virus is still spreading. So while these dark energies are infiltrating the universe, while doom has seemingly won, we also got seemingly the virus of the Batman Who Laughs still potentially out there infecting others. So yeah, so a lot's happening here, and now when I explaining it all to you like this, a lot's happening in the DC universe, and it's kind of cool and it's kind of fun, but it's like, I'm going to use the example again. I know I just stated it before, but I'm going to use the example again of The Rise of Skywalker. Because The Rise of Skywalker to me, because I wasn't a fan of Last Jedi, I didn't like the journey getting The Rise of Skywalker, but The Rise of Skywalker was fun. I know it's might be a very divisive thing for me to say, but I really enjoyed, as messy as The Rise of Skywalker was. There was a lot of exposition. It was plot heavy. It was messy, but it was still satisfying. It got the job done, and it ended in a fashion that it tugged at my heartstrings, and it was satisfying. Right now, the DC universe is really, really messy. We got a lot of different plot threads going on in the DC universe. Major plot threads here. And I haven't even talked about Doomsday Clock yet. But remember that, Doomsday Clock is the potential savior of all this, because even though we got this mess going on in the DC universe, we got the metaverse. We got Earth's Designated Zero is in fact the metaverse, so that we know that no matter how many times Superman dies, he's always going to be reborn. And we know from the pages of Justice League and from the pages of Hell Arisen that, according to Perpetua, the multiverse always heals itself. So we got a metaverse that heals itself and ensures that Superman is always reborn. And we got the Justice Society back. We got the Legion of Superheroes back. And we got a multiverse that always heals itself. And so with all of this, hope is not lost. Hope is always there. But, big but here, one thing the Doomsday Clock does not address is, while the metaverse always heals itself, it doesn't talk about the dark universe. What's the opposite of the metaverse? What's the darker version of the metaverse? If Superman always comes back, no matter how many times he dies, according to Doomsday Clock number 12, if Superman always comes back, what about the opposite of Superman in the dark universe, if there is one? Does he always come back? Now, we've not met a dark version of Superman. I'm totally speculating here. I'm just saying that there's a lot of questions that are opened up here. We got a lot of teasers about the future in Doomsday Clock number 12, about secret crises, and even teasing a potential Marvel DC crossover, talking about Thor and a green behemoth and all this jazz. It's interesting stuff. So there's a lot of excitement there. There's a lot of things potentially on the horizon. And at the end of the day, all this is a plot-centric mess. But it's kind of cool, it's kind of fun, but yet, right at the moment, as I'm trying to make sense of it and as I'm reading it, it's a little bit frustrating, and it doesn't feel as good, I think, as it should feel. I should be more excited than I am. I'm more excited when I think of the possibilities than I am when I'm actually sitting down reading it. You know what I mean? In any event, guys, that's where I'm at with that, and I'm gonna let that sit there because that's the current state of the DC universe, and I'm gonna sign off there. Guys, let me know what you think of what the current state of the Justice League, Hell Arisen, Doomsday Clock, and Flash Forward. Let me know what you think about that and the pages of Batman, Superman. I'm gonna end though. I want to give a shout out to Tom Taylor with Suicide Squad #1. This is just a, don't get attached to any of the members of the new Suicide Squad. This is a really great opening issue. It's very straightforward. It's a fun read. I actually had the most joy, next to Doomsday Clock, because I love Jeff Johns. I really enjoyed Doomsday Clock, but in second place for my pick of the week was definitely a Suicide Squad. I really enjoyed this issue. It was a lot of fun. Sometimes just a simple story about bad guys having their heads blow up. It just puts a smile on my face, huh? Merry Christmas. Unless you're a couple of members in this, I won't spoil the surprise. But not everyone survives this issue. Surprise, surprise, right? But tell me what you think, guys. Tell me what you think of all these issues. Follow me on Twitter at Metropolis40. Have a merry, merry Christmas, and until next time, Comic Boom out.